Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I've got for you today, I need you to send to everyone that you know, because we are seeing a pattern over and over and over again that looks just like what just happened this week. Another cop, this time in Memphis, was killed by a criminal let out with no bail. Oh, God, and he had a Glock switch. All the things that you're about to see look eerily familiar to New York, of which we covered last week. Everything's going to be linked in the description box below. And please send this to everyone that you know and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. Now, beautiful people, this is where I get really, really indignant. I get really irritated at the left, because these are the gun controllers that we're fighting on a day-to-day basis. They also are advocates of no bail. They're also advocates of letting people out. They're also advocates of reformative justice, if you want to look at it from the left's actual verbiage, or restorative justice, however you want to phrase it. But we have another police officer, just like New York, this time in Memphis, Tennessee, who was killed by someone who should have been in jail, but because of leftist policies was let out. All right, let me show you what's going on, and if this doesn't bother you and make you say, what are we doing? I don't know what does. Check this out.
Also learning a lot of new information about this young man. His nickname was Rusty, the officer, Joseph McKinney.
Right.
We're also learning new information regarding one of the suspects just released on no bond less than 1 month before this shooting.
So here's what we know. District Attorney Steve Mulroy has identified the deceased suspect as 18-year-old Jalen Lobley. He was arrested March 5th of 2024 for stealing 2 vehicles. Lobley was found asleep in a stolen car with a loaded weapon with a Glock switch attached.
Now, Mulroy says he was not responsible for releasing him, ROR. He says a jury commissioner did that down at the jail.
A jury commissioner did that. I didn't do it. I'm the DA. I know it would never. I had nothing to do with that. 18 years old, in the car with another 17-year-old, which we're going to find out about in a second, had a Glock switch, a loaded firearm, was found in a stolen vehicle, and had been arrested 1 month prior for stealing 2 vehicles and was out scot-free. Which is weird. You'd think, I almost hear you saying through the camera, Braden, but gun switches would be modifications that would be federal violations underneath the National Firearms Act. Whether you agree or disagree with that sentiment that it should be there, it doesn't undermine the point that it is there, and the left is constantly telling us that our gun rights need to be behind the NFA, and if only we did, criminals would stop criminaling, and yet you have our officers dying across the nation in blue states and in red states because of no bond policies and criminals being released consistently into the population. You still think that spikes in crime and horrible instances like what we're covering is the gun's fault. Still waiting for that inanimate object to get up off your table and go commit a felony. This is why I cover these things so tightly, because the leftist ideal on this is everyone gets out of jail because the system is messed up. It's not the criminal, it's the system. Meanwhile, this happens. So let me get to the second clip, because there was a curfew, guys. It's okay. They put a curfew on him, and somehow that didn't work. So weird. Check this out.
And Kelly, what were the conditions of Lobley's release?
Joe, like you mentioned, Lobley was released on no bond, no monitoring device. He did not have to check in for any drug or alcohol screening. However, he was under a curfew. He was supposed to be at home between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. unless he was traveling for work or school. Memphis police said this morning that shooting occurred at 2 o'clock in the morning near...
Color me shocked. A criminal who was found in a stolen vehicle with an illegal firearm, according to federal statutes, and it was a Glock switch as well, was let out with no bond, no money, out on his own recognizance, no monitoring ankle bracelet, no requirement to check in for drug or alcohol screening, but he had a curfew. What are we doing? Our officers that are actually the ones who will actually do what they're trying to do, while the left has launched a campaign of hatred against them for the last 4 years, are being killed in the street by people that the system is letting back out under restorative justice. That's what this is. It happened in New York. It happened in Memphis. It It just so happens that both of them are Democrat-controlled areas. Weird. Anyway, one more thing for you, because the left you understand, this is not just about the one instance. When you have a pattern and a theme across the entire nation like this, that is a systemic issue. And it's not the system, it's the reformative justice or restorative justice from the left letting everyone out because the system's a meanie pants. Okay? Now, check this out. Last piece.
District Attorney D.A. Mulroy says his office argued strongly against Lobley being released on no bond. He says he was flagged as a high-risk offender. Although Lobley was a first-time offender, his case had been accepted for federal prosecution. Mulroy said Lobley fell into his violent crime initiative that said, quote, individuals found with stolen cars and guns or found with Glock switches can pose a danger and must be dealt with accordingly, end quote.
So he had a pending federal case. So it was accepted by the feds. So federal charges were in the works. He gets let out. And in the time that he's let out, where he's past his curfew, with no check-ins for alcohol or drugs, with no monitoring ankle bracelet, and no bond, he kills an officer. You tell me the problem is guns right now. Now also, the Glock switch is involved. Well, Glock switches are federally illegal. How did a criminal get that? And another little piece, he's 18. It's his first offense. It's his first offense as an adult. Why don't you pull an ATF and make the Senate Bipartisan Safer Communities Act all of a sudden retroactively apply? And then what do you bet? His record may not be so clean. It's one set of rules for the gun owners and for the gun rights in this country. It's another set of rules when the left wants to get everyone out of jail and keep everyone out because it's just mean and unfair, when it's clearly based on their actions and people are literally dying because of these actions. Everything is linked. Let me know what you guys think, and please send this one out, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.